Something happened in Abuja today that Nigeria's political world will be talking about for a long time. Some of the biggest names in opposition politics walked out into the streets together. Not to campaign, not to attend a rally. They walked out in protest. On Wednesday, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, former Kano State Governor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amaichi, former Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola, and former Sokoto Governor Aminu Tambuwal all marched through the streets of Abuja, joined by hundreds of supporters. The protest began at the Maitama roundabout and ended at the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission. They called it the Save Nigeria Democracy protest. Why would men of this political stature be marching in the streets? What exactly did INEC do? The African Democratic Congress has become the party of choice for many major opposition figures ahead of the 2027 elections. The party's national chairman is former Senate President David Mark. Its national secretary is Rauf Aregbesola. But then, INEC removed both their names from its official portal, the portal where INEC lists the recognized leadership of all registered political parties. When your name disappears from that portal, INEC no longer officially recognizes you as a party leader. The consequences can be very serious. The story goes back further than many people realize. In July 2025, the previous ADC executive, led by Rabiu Musa, resigned. A new caretaker committee was set up, headed by David Mark. But then, Nafiu Bala Gombe, the deputy national vice chairman, went to court arguing that with the old executive's resignation, he should have automatically taken over as chairman. In September 2025, a federal high court judge granted Bala's request. Mark's group appealed, but in March 2026, the Court of Appeal dismissed the appeal and directed that the situation before the case was filed should be maintained until the Federal High Court reaches a final decision. If you find this kind of reporting helpful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Following that judgment, INEC resolved to maintain what the court called the status quo ante bellum, going back to the way things were before the case was filed. Since Mark's name was uploaded after the case had already been filed, INEC removed his name and those of his National Working Committee. INEC also said it will not receive communication from either group or monitor any meeting, congress, or convention until the Federal High Court reaches a final decision. In plain language, INEC has pressed pause on the ADC. That pause could affect everything, including the party's ability to prepare for 2027. INEC says it is simply obeying the law and has dismissed allegations of bias, but the ADC leaders do not accept that explanation. Atiku posted on social media that they were peacefully protesting against what he called the partisanship of the electoral umpire, aimed at safeguarding democracy and preventing what he described as the enthronement of a dictatorship. Amaichi, addressing the crowd from a van, echoed the same sentiment. These are serious allegations, accusing INEC of taking sides with the ruling APC. But it is important to be clear, these are claims. INEC has denied them. The matter is still before the courts. The ADC had been shaping up to become Nigeria's leading opposition party. The INEC decision is now a significant setback for presidential aspirants like Atiku and Peter Obi, both expected to contest for the ADC ticket. Critics have also pointed out that when the Supreme Court ruled in April 2025 that the Labour Party leadership under Julius Aburi had overstayed in office, INEC did not move with the same speed to remove Aburi from its portal. The ADC says this inconsistency shows INEC applies different standards to different parties. INEC has not publicly addressed this comparison. Inside the protest, demonstrators held placards reading "Hands off our courts" and "Judges must give justice." Some held a banner that read, "Tinubu, let our democracy breathe." The leaders are now framing this as a broader fight for the survival of opposition politics in Nigeria. Whether that framing is accurate or a political strategy to rally public sympathy is something every thinking Nigerian should weigh carefully. What we know for certain is that a court case is ongoing. A final judgment has not been delivered, and until it is, who truly leads the ADC remains legally unresolved. What Nigeria is watching now is deeper than one party's crisis. It is a test of whether our institutions, courts, electoral commission, political parties can function independently and fairly.
whether opposition politics can survive the pressures placed on it, and whether ordinary Nigerians will be left with a real choice when election day comes. Please subscribe so you do not miss the next update on this developing story. Democracy is not just about elections. It is about whether the rules work the same way for everybody. These are questions worth sitting with because the answers will shape not just 2027, but the kind of Nigeria we leave behind.